In this video, we're going to learn how to get this beautiful, dramatic, golden lighting effect on a bodybuilder using the powers of Photoshop and the magic of Lightroom. Or the magic of Photoshop and the powers of Lightroom both goes the same way. Now here's the thing. The first thing that we're going to do, we are going to get the light and the dimensions right in Lightroom. All the highlights, shadows, grunginess, texture, everything right in Lightroom, preparing the subject for further editing for this golden effect. Then what are we going to do? We're going to import that into Photoshop from Lightroom. Now, one of the first things that we're going to do, we're going to change the background. We're going to extract the subject out of the white background and put it into a black background. Now, here's the biggest challenge when you pull off a subject from a white background and put it on a black background is that you begin to see something called a fringe. Now, what is a fringe? A fringe is a thin line around the edges. Now, if you pull off a subject from a black background to a white one, you're going to see a black fringe around the edge. If you pull off a subject from a white background to a black one, you're going to see white fringe. So we can learn how to deal with fringes, different ways of dealing with fringes in Photoshop. Now once we deal with fringe, once we get the selection right, perfect, then we're going to do some cross-processing, which is the real crux of this tutorial. So without any further ado, I hope you are excited and I am too. Let's get started. So after a very long time, here we are in Lightroom, and this photo was submitted by Troy Davidson. He's an awesome and amazing portrait photographer, and by the way, he has given the permission for you to download the raw photo so that you can go ahead and download and play with the raw photo. Links in the description below. Alright, so this is the ready-made, already edited photo. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's reset it. But wait, let's not reset it. Let's save it. How to save it? There's an icon. If you don't see it, click on this, make sure in the develop module, and there's a plus icon. Click on that plus icon and then let's save it as black and white. This is for me, okay? I'm saving it. Now whatever changes I make right now, whatever disasters I make, even if I reset, I can always go back to that setting, right? So that allows me to save settings as presets inside of an image. This is different from a preset because this allows you to save this inside an image. Every image has its specific snapshots. Alright, so let's reset that as we have this already saved. Let's reset that. Let me show you how to do this from beginning to end because that is the objective of this tutorial. Alright, so the first thing, whatever you do, first thing in Lightroom, please set the white balance right. Even if you are doing black and white, set the white balance right. Here's why. Now when you change the sliders of white balance, you see, look at the histogram, the exposure's changing, right? So you need to set the white balance right. So click on this eyedropper tool and click on a place which should have been gray if you were there in real life, okay? Click on that, right? Now we got the white balance right, let's put it back here. Okay, now here's one more thing. I'm giving you another tip. While you're picking white balance, just make sure auto dismiss is checked off. Okay, if auto dismissed is checked in and you click here, see, this goes back to this place. The eyedropper goes back to this place. So every time you need to see different areas, it again goes back, again click it, again come back to this place. Instead, if you want to click again and again at different places and see how it looks, make sure this is checked off so that you click at different places to see which white balance looks best to you. According to me, this one's best. So I'm going to click here again, the eyedropper gets back to this place. So that was a little cool pro tip. Let's proceed. So now let's set the highlights first. Now you might have a different style, I might have a different style. So let's set the highlights first. I set the highlights first. If the exposure is right, exposure seem right to me. So let's set the highlights first. Okay. And don't forget to change to black and white because we are creating a black and white image. And set. And set the highlight to the position you like this time because we're going to set the white points and the black points anyway. So choose the value which you like the most. So I don't think we like the highlights. Also make sure, since we're going to make a selection of this, make sure that this line is visible. If you increase the highlights too much, see, this line goes away and Photoshop will have a hard time making a selection. So make sure that the highlights are low enough for this line to be visible. So I'm going to set something like -70 is pretty good. Okay, pretty good. Now the shadows, how much of a shadow do you want? Since this is a dramatic portrait, so let's set this to around 38, 40-ish. I always stay to round figures. You might think that's kind of an OCD, but that's not. Anyway, so let's get back to the whites. And now don't touch the whites and blacks. Touch it later because these two sliders adjusts what is clipping and what's not. So let's do it later. Then let's come down to clarity. Now usually I don't recommend increasing the global clarity, but since in this there's just one portrait, there's a flat background, you can increase it, and anyway we're going to select the subject, so no fear of haloing or any other stuff. So I think around 75 is a good number to be in. Great. Now let's look at the highlights, lights. Don't increase the highlights first. There's a tip, increase the lights first, and then if there's any space left, any room left for highlights, only then increase it. Make sure the line doesn't go away, okay? Stop at the point where the line goes away. Maybe 56, I'll stay at 50. Okay, highlight. Make sure the line doesn't go away. I like it around 30-ish, good. 30 is good. Now let's increase the darks. Now wait a minute, how do you decide which way the slider to move or how much to move? Now here's another pro tip. Move it all the way to the right. Is it looking good? Move it all the way to the left. Is it looking good? Which one's looking good? Right or left? Which one's looking better? The right one was looking better, which means you'll move the slider to the right. So that's one of the ways to decide which side to move. Okay, I would stay 30-ish. This is good. And shadows to the left. Not too much. This much is okay. 28 is good. I'm not staying to round figures anymore. It's good. Now here comes the magic. Magic to black and white is black and white mix. Now what is this? This controls the luminosity of particular colors. But you might say this is a black and white, this doesn't have any colors. Well, it does have colors. Change it to colors and you'll see it. Change it to color and you'll see the colors. So if you turn on black and white, this becomes active, this thing called black and white mix. Now if you increase, take the slider of the red to the right or the red to the left, whatever was red in the image, the brightness of that red area before the image turned black and white will increase. Okay, so let's decrease the reds. Now here's the tip, decrease the reds and increase the orange. Now it might differ for your skin tone, but then again, this is something which works for most of them, especially bodybuilding images. Okay, decrease the reds, not too much, don't go overboard, but that's kind of the general rule. Decrease the reds and increase the orange. Adds the drama. Okay, let's see, increase the yellows. Watch, when I increase the yellows, the iris pop up, right? I love it. So that's okay. Try the greens, doesn't do anything. Aqua doesn't do anything. Blue, no. Okay, that's great. Now let's talk about sharpening. Since this is a manly bodybuilding image, kind of hard look, we will add a lot more sharpening than we usually do, especially with female portraits. We don't want to add a lot of sharpening in female portraits, but this is a male portrait. Besides, it's a bodybuilding image, so lots of sharpening, the hard effect. Okay, so let's give it 100. Now here's another thing about sharpening. Whenever you're sharpening, make sure you zoom all the way to 1:1. Okay, let's zoom in to see how the sharpening is affecting the image. Now I know you get this window, but this is kind of small and you can adjust it actually. You can just watch, you can adjust it. Just click here and just adjust that. So another tip. Okay, so 100 is good. Now what is the radius? The radius is which edges to pronounce. If the radius is too low, it won't sharpen the image, it will sharpen the noise. If the radius is too high, it will give a kind of halo effect. Think of radius as the radius that we used to apply in high pass filter while sharpening in Photoshop. Is the same thing. Okay. Now, to see the high pass thing here, press and hold Alt and increase it. See the same high pass thing that we saw in Photoshop? So for this image, I would stay at, so keep a value where the edges are pronounced the most. This is, we don't see much of an edge pronouncing here. This is too much, we begin to see the halo. We don't want the halo to be there. We would stay at around maybe 1 or 1.2, something like that. This is great. Now details is the depth. Think of it like this, how much bump you want in each texture. Okay, so you can also press and hold Alt option and increase and decrease the details to see the details. It's too much. Let's say, let's keep it at around 28. It's good. Alright, now masking allows you to not apply sharpness into areas which are already seamless, where sharpness shouldn't be allowed. For example, you have clicked a portrait with a blurred background. Now you don't want to apply sharpness to the blurred background, but you want to apply sharpness to the eye. So you want Lightroom to detect which areas are blurred out and which areas are sharp, and apply sharpness in only those areas which are sharp. Now masking, the slider controls the degree of detection. So if I press and hold Alt and increase the slider, white are the areas where sharpness is applied, black are the areas where sharpness is not applied. As you can see, the background is blurred out, so it's not applying the sharpness in the background. And if I go ahead and increase it, the degree just decreases, okay? At this point, it only applies sharpness to really sharp areas. At this point, it applies sharpness to almost every single pixel. So for me, I guess this is pretty much good. Now finally, it's time for us to set the black and white point, and this can be done automatically. So let's get back to black and white points, okay? And press and hold Shift, double click here, it sets the white point automatically. Double click on the blacks, it sets the black point automatically. Alright, so let's save this also. Save this as, oops, my caps lock is on, black and white 2. And let's see which one's better. Oh, I saved it as 1, that's okay. So this is the one that I created earlier. This is the one that I created now. I think I like this one more. Now here's the thing. You know what's the most underutilized slider in Lightroom? Contrast. It's just straight up at the top and people just don't use it. Right, so let's go ahead and try increasing the contrast just a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. Now once you increase the contrast, you might have to increase the shadows a bit. Okay, contrast a bit. Now this is looking good. Let's save this as BW3. So let's create it. Which one do you like the most? Black and white? Black and white 1? BW3. I like the BW3. Let's open up it in Photoshop. To import this in Photoshop, really easy. Right click on it and go to Edit in Adobe Photoshop CC 2017. Whatever version you have, just click on in here and it will import automatically into Photoshop. So finally, here we are in Photoshop, and our first job is to extract the subject. And to do that, first of all, let's go ahead and unlock the background layer. To unlock the background layer, click on this lock and it's unlocked. And to extract the subject better, we're going to use some adjustment layer. I talked about this in my previous tutorial. If you have not seen yet, go ahead and check it out right here. Okay, so as you can see, the edge is still visible as we took care of it in our Lightroom. We made sure that the edges are still visible for the Photoshop to detect and making selection easy. So edges are visible, but not that much visible, right? Now what if we make the edges visible using an adjustment layer? And then let Photoshop make the selection automatically. And then once everything is done, we delete that adjustment layer. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, so let's add a levels adjustment layer and let's click on levels. Okay, to add an adjustment layer, if you missed that, click on this gray white circle icon, click on that and choose levels. Take the slider of the left to the right and just stop where you can see, begin to see the edge. See, you begin to see the edge. Now it's so clear, so nice, so good. Okay, I know this looks horrible, but don't look at how horrible this looks now, because that is just an adjustment layer. You can always go ahead and delete it. I think we added just 2 because I was explaining to you. Alright, now select the quick selection tool and then make a rough selection of the subject. Very easy. Very easy. Now Photoshop will have very easy time selecting all these edges. Now make sure you be careful, don't select extra, right? So make the brush a little smaller and there you go. Also, when you're selecting, make sure that auto enhance is checked. Now, what is this time taking for? This is time taken for auto enhance. Now, when you make a selection, you see that's very rough. That doesn't look nice at all. But when you leave it, it takes some time for the auto enhance and thus enhances the edges. Okay. So let's go ahead and select the edges properly. Now it's going to take some time. So let's do it at once. Select the edges properly. Let me fast forward this process, okay? Let's just do it really quickly. I don't want to take so much of your time, okay? And by the way, whenever it selects extra like this, you go ahead, zoom in and press and hold Alt or Option. It changes to minus and then select the areas that you don't want in your selection. Okay, now that will make the necessary adjustments and there you go. It has made some very bad adjustments. We're going to clean that up later in select and mask, but for now, let's stay with this. Okay, let me just fast forward. Now we have pretty much done the selection. Can I give you one more tip? Here's what you can do. Press Q to see which areas are selected and which areas are left out. As you can see, these areas are left out. So to select them, simple. Select the brush, okay? Paint in with white. And that area will be selected. Increase the flow and paint those areas with white. Okay? Simple. Only the inside areas, okay? So as you can see, it's selected. Press Q again to return back to the selection and see which areas are remaining. Okay, these areas are a little remaining. So now we're gonna get back to quick selection tool and let's just add these areas. Okay, let's make the brush a little smaller and let's add these areas. These little areas which are left out. Okay, and we're gonna clear it out in what? Select and mask. Now once you're satisfied with the selection, let's have a look here. This is left out. This is okay. This is taken care of. This is not taken care of. Let's subtract this from the selection. Pretty much. There you go. Now this is looking good. Now once we have the rough selection in place, we can go ahead and delete the levels adjustment layer because that was just an adjustment layer. We don't need it anymore. That was for selection purposes. Alright, now it's time for us to refine the selection using what? The select and mask. Okay, so make sure you select any selection tool and click on select and mask. Okay, if you are using any version before 2015.5, use refine edge. Select refine edge. Alright, now let's go ahead and increase the opacity. Let's see how it will look in a black background. On black, make sure you choose on black because we're going to put it in a black background. So we want to see how it will look in a black background. So let's try different opacities. Now when the opacity is 100%, it will show you what the selection is on a black background. When the opacity is 0, it will show you everything. Okay, so keep the opacity somewhere in between to clear out the selection and see which areas are not selected. For example, take this area. So take the brush and just delete this area. This is something extra. Okay, anything left here, you can clear the selection. You can take as much time as you want. I'm going to show you really quickly. You can do the hairs really quickly. There's a lot of things you can do. Clear this out. Okay, so take the time and do it. I'm going to show you really quickly how to do this. Okay, so these are some things that you might want to clear and there's something you might want to add. So let's add it. Okay, to subtract, press and hold Alt, changes the brush to minus and then subtract that. To add, just as it is and or normally adds. Okay, adds these areas and there you go. Now let's come to hair. Let's see whether we can select the hair or not. In this case, it's going to be a little difficult because it's all white and the background is white. It's going to be really difficult. So we have to find out ways to select hair. And if not, we're going to use some tricky way to do this. Okay, so now let's try and just refine edge on hair. Select the refine edge tool, decrease the opacity, maybe increase it. And there's no details to select, man. So I don't know how are we supposed to select the hair. Man, it's bad. It's really bad. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's going really bad. So we might have to find some alternative way to select hair that we're gonna do here, but just let's not worry about this. This hair is pretty good. Better than the left hand side. So let's try and select this hair. This is pretty good, not bad. Okay. Now there's a white fringe. We're gonna learn how to take care of that. But that's not what we're gonna looking now, so it's pretty much fine. Here is the white fringe. Let's go ahead, take the brush. This is too much, this is not that little much. Press and hold Alt option. Let's take care of this. Let's remove this, take this out of the selection. We don't want this. Okay, pretty good. Let's come to the left hand side. Let's see, what do we have here? It's not that bad, but we can remove it. Great. Now let's minimize that. Let's make it smaller and then click OK once you're satisfied. Okay, take the time to clear the selection. Now click OK. Now that we have a pretty good selection, click on this mask button. Now it's on its own. We have it, right? Let's put it on a black background, create a black background, click on it and adjustment layer, solid color, choose black and put this layer beneath this one. we're gonna take care of the fringe, but first let's take care of the hair. It's totally looking unnatural. So if you zoom in, it does not have any kind of texture. But what if we take this side of texture to this side? Wouldn't it look natural? So how do we get that? So press and hold Controller Command, click on it, and we get this side's texture. So now click, make a new layer, create a new layer, and fill it with any color. Maybe let's fill it with, say, white. Okay, let's fill it with white. Now we have this selection. Okay, we have this. So we want just this portion. So what we would do, we would just go ahead and select this portion and just create a new layer of it. I know that we could have done it more easily, but now we have it. So let's go ahead and try, select this layer. Let's try copying it over this portion. Controller Command T, right click on it, flip horizontal, and then let's try fitting it in here. Okay, so to make sure whether it's fitting or not, change the blend mode to difference, and you can line it up pretty easily. Now once you have lined this up, like this, maybe increase the size, something like that, line this up, great. Now what you can do, press Controller Command, click on it, hold Controller Command, click on it, and then press Control Shift I. This inverses the selection. Now delete it and come back to the mask and just paint with black here. There you go, there you go. We might have gone a little bit overboard here. We don't want to just remove the ear, so be careful here. Okay, now that's looking good, pretty good, awesome. Now that's awesome. Controller Command D, now we have the hair. It's looking natural as good. Now, natural as new. Now that fits better. Now let's go ahead and take care of the fringe. Take care of the fringe, we need to put the selection on its own layer without the mask. So to do it, make a copy of this, Controller Command J, and then right click on the mask and click Apply Layer Mask. Now it's on its own layer, let's close it. Now, it's on its own layer, doesn't have a mask, anything. Now our first defense is going to be remove white matte, because this has a white matte, white fringe. So we'd go to Layer, Matting, remove white matte. So it did a pretty good job. Let's look at the before and after. This is the before, this is the after. A little bit of it is gone, but not too much. A little bit of it is gone. Now our next defense is going to be defringe. So Layer, Matting, defringe. 1 pixel. Is it taking care of it? No. Let's try putting this, that's above this layer. Let's try again, image, matting, remove white matte, does nothing. Okay, now our 2 defenses are off. So let's go with the third defense. It is contracting the selection. So press and hold Controller Command, click on this, and then go to select, modify, contract, and contract it by maybe 2 pixels. Sometimes try with 1 first and then go with 2. So I'm going to try 2 pixels, experience talks. Then simply create a mask, because what contract does is that, as you can see, it has sunk the selection in a little bit. Okay, it simply sunks the selection in by 2 pixels. Okay, so now you can click on it, it creates a mask, takes away all the fringe. Right, now it's looking good. So we keep this turned off layer at the bottom for safer side. Now it's time for a little cross processing. So whenever you're applying something, whenever you have something in mind, maybe a golden effect, maybe something like that, apply the basic things first. Apply the things that you see first, then adjust later. Okay, so do the main things first. Life is too short, eat the dessert first. So let's go ahead, create a new blank layer and make it black, totally black. So fill it up with black, Alt backspace. If you're using a Mac, Option delete. Fill it up with black, don't worry. Go to Filter, Render, and then Lens Flare. Right? Choose 105mm prime and the value to around 132, something like that. And depending upon what you want, click OK. Now change the blend mode to, you guessed it right, we want to remove all the blacks, right? Change the blend mode to screen. Great. We have got it. Now if you're satisfied with this, stop here. But if you want that golden effect, that extra dimensions and lighting effects, proceed. Okay, now let's add that golden effect. Add a layer above it called Hue Saturation, Adjustment Layer. Click on this, Hue Saturation, and check Colorize. And we want to add that yellow, right? So increase the hue to around something like this. Increase the saturation. We get that yellow thing, right? To complement the yellow, let's add a blue shadow. To add a blue shadow, simple. Add a new curves layer. Okay. and go to the blues and increase the blues. There you go, just a little bit. Okay, now this is looking pretty. Now it's not quite matching. We want it to be a little more dark. So let's add another layer just above this main subject layer. Let's add another layer called curves and let's just darken it. Okay, let's take this layer a little bit to the left, little bit. Let's just darken it. Give this a more dramatic effect. There we go. There we go. Now it's looking great. Have a look. Isn't this beautiful? Let's turn the background to black and look, have a look how nice it looks. Now let's add some special lighting effects. To add some special lighting effects, simple. Create a layer just above this. Again, create a layer just above this called any adjustment layer, levels, curves, anything will do. Just create it, close it. We don't want the properties. Change the blend mode to screen. Sorry, not light and screen. Now, screen is a blend mode. Just a quick recap. Screen is a blend mode which lightens everything, multiply, darkens everything. Overlay increases the contrast, soft light increases just a little bit contrast. So levels, it brightens everything, controller command I, selecting the mask. Now the effect goes off from all over the image. Take the brush, make sure the foreground color is white, press X to toggle between foreground and the background color. Okay. Now we have white. If it's some other color, press D to get the default black and white, and then just simply dab over the areas which you want to brighten. So decrease the flow to somewhere around maybe 20, 30, 40, let's say 40, and just click around these areas. Wow. I would say I would go with 20. Okay. And then just paint over some of the areas to add that extra effect. Extra shine. Whoa. Just a little bit of shine here and there, not too much, just on the areas. Look, light is coming from the right, so that way add highlights to only those areas which falls directly under that light. So here we have added here a little bit, and maybe here just a little bit, and maybe just a little bit flare from the left. Let's look at the before and after. So this is the before, this is the after. Adds a kind of dramatic effect. Now to dramatize it even more, what you can do, you can right click on it or double click on the right hand side of the layer, a trick I just learned, and it opens up the blending options. Take the slider of the underlying layer from left to right and stop here, press and hold Alt option, take it further, just like that. It dramatizes it, right? Now let's go ahead. We might want to increase the saturation, hue saturation just a little bit, maybe something like that, and the hue. All right. There's a very thin line between yellow and green, so please be careful. All right, now this is looking pretty. Let's look at the before and after. So this is the before, this is the after. So much achieved. Now, what you can do, you can also go further, add a color lookup adjustment layer if you want. I won't usually. So add a color lookup adjustment layer and try the different presets here and there. So crisp winter, why is it not working? Maybe drop blues, these. Very many filters. Now if you're applying this, make sure you turn off the hue saturation and the curves layers, not this one, the blue curves layer and the lens flare. Maybe you want to put the lens flare on and then you try the different effects. Okay, film stock, a lot of different effects. I like this effect, I love it. So depends upon what you want, but we need that golden effect that we have just created. All right, so this is it, and this is the final image which I took some more time to create, a little bit more time on Lightroom and Photoshop, but it has the same adjustment layers, just a little more tweakings, different values, so you get the idea. So that's pretty much it for this video. That's how you get that golden dramatic lighting effect. I hope this video helped you in not only getting this particular kind of effect, but also in exploring the effect that you want for your own images. So thanks a lot for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give us a like, and also don't forget to subscribe, and not just subscribe, hit the bell so that you don't miss anything. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.